In this tutorial, I'm going to show you how you can use Rival Ripper's Slim Messenger to manage your eBay messages that you have with buyers and help manage the history of your conversations that you have with eBay users. So to start this, you just want to log into your Rival Ripper account and go over here on the left. There's a little email icon, and you'll have two options, messages and canned answers. I'll cover the canned answers here shortly, but first I'm just going to click on messages. And you'll see an interface like this. All that you're going to see here over here on the right is just an example conversation. So it's just telling you how to use this. And so on the left is what you want to do is click on all. And that'll show all your conversations that you've had on your eBay account with your buyers. If you just created a new account, it's only going to show messages between the last 30 to 90 days at most. We can't get anything from the eBay API beyond that, but in going forward, it will store all your messages for as long as you're a subscriber. So when I click on all, that's going to show all closed messages. We have three status types that you can set messages to. So if you have an open conversation with a buyer and you're waiting for a response from them, you can change the status to waiting. So for example, I'm on this first message here, and I can change this conversation to waiting by just clicking the type right here and changing it to update status. Now, if you put any text in this box right here, it's going to go to the buyer. So if you just want to change the status, leave this box blank and then just hit update status. So now you can see it turned red. If I want to make it open, open would just be more urgent, meaning you're kind of telling yourself you need to do something immediately. So you can change it to it'll change to red and pink. And it'll change to open status up here. So if I click on open, I can see all the open issues. If I had any waiting, which I just did a moment ago, I would click on there and I can see all the waitings. Or I can go back here, and if I'm done with it and everything's been resolved and there's no open issues on this message or with this buyer, I can just click closed, update status. The eBay API has a little option for us to send you an email, emailed copy. So if you want to do that, you can just check the box when you send a message. So sending a message is actually quite simple. You can just click the buyer that you want to send a message to, type in the box here, blah, 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 blah. I'm not going to send any messages because this is an actual live account. We don't use it for much other than testing, but this is a real buyer. So if I hit send, that's going to send an actual message. So a great feature here is the canned answer. So if I have a buyer that asks me the same question over and over and over, so if I get like, when will this item ship, or when will this item ship, when will this item ship, and you get that question, 20 times a day, typing it out is just time consuming. Like, you don't want to do that, and you want to save as much time as possible so you can focus on other items in your business to make more money. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a canned answer so that we can just select an answer and send it off. So to do that, I'm going to click edit list here. This page can also be reached on the left over here under canned answers. It's the same page. So I already have one in here. I'm going to create another one just for an example. So I'm going to put in tracking info time, and then I'm just going to say tracking is usually updated within 24 to 48 hours your order. See how long it took me to type that? Like, if I had to type that every time somebody sent me a message, I'd just be sitting here answering messages all day. So save that as a canned answer. It'll show up right here, tracking info time. And if you want, you can click the preview button. It just shows you the title that you created and the actual message. You can edit, delete it. So I'm going to go back to the messenger and then click on all to see my messages. And so if I wanted to reply to this Steve Wilmo guy, I could click on the canned answer select box, and it'll pop up and say, tracking info time. Just select it and it automatically fills it in for you. You can send it to the buyer immediately. If you click this little clear, that'll just empty your text box. And if you want to refill it in, just change it back and then change it to whatever you want it. Another button that's on here is a refresh button. We have scripts that run in the background that refresh your messages as you are logged in every couple minutes or so. So you can hover over this to see the last time it was updated. So this says it was updated at 8:20 p.m. So if I click the refresh button here, a pop-up will say messages refreshing. This may take a moment. So usually by the time I click the OK button and the page refreshes, the new messages will show up. But sometimes it might take a few moments, so you might have to refresh the page again. But now if I hover over this, it now says 8:27 p.m. instead of 8:20. So now I'm up to date. But when you log into the account, messages are going to be updated. So usually you won't even have to use the refresh button. This is just if you're having a conversation and you want to get a message immediately. Now the way our system works is eBay's messaging system was built in the late 90s, and they haven't really changed it much since. So the way it used to work is that it was all based on email, and so their system generates a big giant garble of HTML code and big fancy buttons, and the message, that your buyer might just be sending you a message like this, like what size is the frame? That's it. That's like 20 letters. But eBay's system is going to generate an email that has 20,000 characters in it, which is just wasteful, and it's time consuming to try and track down that message and try to figure out what the buyer actually said. Where is that text that's actually what he's trying to ask you. So our system, what it does is it takes that email and it makes an attempt at scraping out the actual message. So we look for patterns in the text, and we scrape all the garble off of the top and bottom, and we just take the actual content. Now sometimes your buyers might send in a message that comes from an email client or something, like maybe they send it straight from their phone and they have a weird email signature at the bottom of their message, and so sometimes we might not crop it correctly. So if you see that happen and you see some weird HTML garble in here, it doesn't look clean to you, feel free to send us a message and we can look at it and see where our code was unable to crop it out. But it works about 99.9% of the time, and it works pretty good. We love this. We have multiple eBay accounts in different niches, and we would be wasting so much time if we didn't have this system. Another great feature is if you do have multiple accounts, you can create multiple Ripple accounts, and you can link them, and you can look at all your conversations with all your buyers from all your accounts on this one page. And you can even switch between them if you just want to focus on one account by using the select box up on the top. I have another tutorial that shows how to link multiple accounts together. This count is right here is just showing one. If you have any orders from a buyer, you can also see the orders down here. So a great example here is if a buyer places an order, you can actually, from the orders page, so if I go to the orders page here, and there's some pink, so that means I've had a conversation with this buyer before. So if I click on this inbox message here on the orders page, it'll take me to the thread, the whole conversation that I had with this person. So you can see, if you've talked to the person 6 months ago or 3 months ago, it's very helpful. Without this, there's no way you could figure this out inside eBay. It's just almost practically impossible. Their system has no way of linking messages together like this in any form. So this is a great feature of Rival Ripper. So I think I covered pretty much everything as far as the inboxing and messaging and selecting the canned answers. So really that ends this tutorial. The only other thing you can do is you can put the actual name of the buyer in here if you want to search for the conversation. And that's about it. So this ends this tutorial. Thanks for watching.